Hi, I'm Martin. I'm an auto tech in Norwich, and this is my story. Right, so this is a tale about how I thought I was in love, found out who I was really married to, got divorced, and how I kept the true love of my life, my seven. But to understand how it all went wrong, you need to understand how it all went right first. Before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and smash that hype button. It really helps YouTube find and share our fantastic stories. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Let me take you back to 2003. I was fresh out of my apprenticeship and I'd just discovered the low-cost movement. Ron Champion's book sat on my bedside table like a Bible. I'd read it 3 times before I even bought my first length of steel tube. Working as an auto tech meant I had the basic skills. I could weld, I understood engines, I knew my way around a workshop. But this was different. This wasn't fixing someone else's problem. This was creating something. My own seven, built with my own hands, from scratch. I saved for 6 months before I bought the steel, went without holidays, didn't go to the pub with the lads, packed sandwiches instead of buying lunch. Every penny went into a coffee tin labelled Project Freedom. I started welding the space frame in a rented garage. A tiny space, could barely swing a cat in there. My landlord thought I was mental. You're going to build a car in there? I measured everything obsessively. Measure twice, cut once. That's the rule. You can't unmeasure a cut tube. The welding, God, the welding. I practiced for weeks on scrap before I touched the actual chassis. Each joint had to be perfect. This thing had to hold together with a screaming Hayabusa engine trying to shake it apart. The lads at work thought I was obsessed. They'd ask, "Coming to the pub, Martin?" And I'd say, "Can't, mate, got 3 chassis joints to finish." They'd shake their heads, but some of them understood. Tony, the senior tech, he got it. He'd built a Westfield in the 80s. He'd stop by on weekends, bring me tea, check my joints, nod approvingly. "Good work, son. Keep it up. She'll be worth it." He was right. Took me 18 months just to get the chassis done. 18 months of evenings, weekends, bank holidays. While my mates were at football matches or on holiday in Spain, I was in the shed, surrounded by steel tube and the smell of welding gas, and I loved every second of it. Year 2. Now came the really exciting bit. The Hayabusa engine. 1,300 cc's of Japanese insanity. 4 cylinders of pure screaming fury in a car that weighed about the same as a well-fed Labrador. I found mine on eBay. Low mileage, came out of a bike that had been written off in a minor accident. The engine was perfect. I collected it in a van, drove 3 hours each way. When I got it back to the garage, I just sat there staring at it for an hour. The engine mounts were the hardest part. You see, you can't just plonk a Hayabusa engine into a 7 chassis. You need a proper mounting cradle, engineered to make it fit, hard mounted, just like on the bike. I spent 3 months just designing the cradle, drew it out by hand, measured, remeasured, measured again. I built the engine cradle like I was building the space shuttle. Every weld inspected, every measurement verified. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. in a cold sweat worrying about my calculations. The day I got the engine mounted, I actually got emotional. I rang Tony at home. "Mate, it's in! The engine is in the chassis." He said, "The next pint is on me, son. You've earned it." I said, "Can't. Got to start on the wiring loom." The electrics nearly broke me. Hundreds of connections, relays, a new fuse panel. Every wire had to go somewhere, had to do something. One wrong connection and the whole thing could go up in smoke, or just sit there doing nothing like an expensive paperweight. I labelled everything, made diagrams, Tested every circuit 17 times before I even thought about connecting the battery. 3 years. 3 years of my life. My mates had gotten married, started families, bought houses, gone on holiday to Thailand. Me? I'd built this. She wasn't pretty yet, just bare metal and exposed mechanics, but she was mine. Every tube, every bolt, every wire, I knew them all because I'd put them there myself. The moment of truth, the first startup. I'd been building toward this for 3 years. I said a little prayer. Please work. Please, please work. I've given you everything. Please don't let me down. I turned the key. I pressed the start button. Nothing. No! What did I miss? Oh, you muppet, Martin. The fuel pump relay. I reconnected the relay and she fired to life. I jumped out screaming, "It's alive! It's alive!" Like some demented character from a Mel Brooks movie. The neighbours appeared at windows looking concerned. I didn't care. I'd done it. I'd actually built a car. From tubes and dreams and bloody knuckles and 3 years of my life. That sound, that glorious sound, it was better than any music, better than Christmas morning, better than anything I'd experienced up to that point. I love you, I whispered to the car. I absolutely love you. The final year was all about making her perfect. Paint. I chose British Racing Green with a prisoner yellow nose cone. Classic, timeless, proper. I did the paint prep myself. Hours of sanding, filling, priming. Then I paid a proper paint shop to spray it. I wasn't risking my 3 years of work with a rattle can job. You're beautiful, I whispered. The first drive. Oh, the first proper drive. MOT passed, insured, legal. 175 brake horsepower in a car weighing 450 kilograms. It was like strapping a rocket to a skateboard. Every input was immediate. Turn the wheel, the car turned. Touch the throttle. Boom! You were accelerating like a fighter jet. The noise, that glorious Hayabusa scream bouncing off hedgerows. The wind, the completely mad, ridiculous, utterly glorious sensation of going 90 miles per hour while sitting about 3 inches off the ground. 4 years. 4 years of my life, and it was worth every single second. I'd built the love of my life with my own 2 hands. Remember that bit, because it's important for what comes next. The 7 was running perfectly. I was doing track days, Sunday blats with the local 7 club, even won best home built at a kit car show. Life was good, and that's where I met Louise. She was gorgeous. Blonde, stylish, that kind of effortless beauty that makes you forget your own name. She stopped at my 7, actually stopped and looked at it. Did you really build this yourself? Yes, 4 years, from scratch. It's got a Hayabusa engine, makes about 175 brake, weighs 450, it'll do 0 to 60 in under 3.5 seconds and... That's amazing, she said. I love a man who can actually build something. I wanted to marry her on the spot. She seemed perfect. She'd come to the garage, bring me cups of tea, ask questions about maintenance. She called it impressive. She said I was talented. She even came with me on a few Sunday blats, smiling at people as they waved to say hello. Well, smiling is a bit generous, more like gritting teeth while the wind ruined her hair. But I didn't see it. Didn't want to see it. Trevor said, "Mate, are you sure she's into the car thing? Because I saw her face when you were explaining the space frame. She looked like she was planning her shopping list." "You're just jealous. She's perfect. She gets me." "If you say so, mate, if you say so." 6 months in, I decided to propose. And because I'm a complete romantic idiot, I decided to do it in the 7, during a sunset drive. "Louise, I have something to ask you." Are you proposing? Now? Here?" "Yes, that's right. In the car I built. Will you marry me?" "Yes." "This is perfect. Let's celebrate and take the scenic route home." On the way home, she whined, "Martin, slow down. The noise. It's so loud." I said, That's the Hayabusa engine. Isn't it glorious? Can we please just slow down a bit? The entire drive home she complained about the noise, about the wind, about how her hair was ruined, about how the racing seat was uncomfortable, about how she could feel every bump in the road. That was intense, she said. Yeah, in a good way, right?
Yeah.
I told myself she was just overwhelmed. The proposal, the emotion, the excitement. She'd get used to the car. She'd learn to love it like I did. She would not. Wedding day. Beautiful ceremony. Louise looked stunning. I looked like a bloke in a suit trying not to pass out from nerves. Standard wedding stuff. Right, so we'll do some photos with the Seven, yeah? I've detailed it specially. It's gleaming. We can do some with Louise in the passenger seat. Maybe me standing by the bonnet. No. Sorry, what? No photos with the car, Martin. It'll ruin the aesthetic of the wedding album. But I built it. It's part of who I am. It's a garage project, Martin. This is our wedding day. I'm not having photos of me in a white dress next to something covered in oil stains. That's when Louise's best friend Vivienne appeared. Oh, darling, you're not seriously suggesting wedding photos with that homemade vehicle, are you? What will people think? Can you imagine? Wedding photos with a go-kart? I laughed it off, told myself it was just wedding day nerves, told myself she'd come around, told myself that compromise is part of marriage. I was an idiot. Moving day. Our first house, a rental. Perfect. Look at this, Lou. Garage is just big enough. I can keep her inside, do some maintenance, maybe a few upgrades. Actually, Martin, I was thinking, the Seven should really live outside, just until we sort the garage properly. I need the space for storage. Storage? But we've got the shed for... The good storage, Martin. Wedding gifts, seasonal items, things that need to stay dry and clean. But the Seven needs to stay dry and clean too. It's designed to get wet, Martin, she said. It doesn't even have doors. A bit of weather won't hurt it. I whispered to the Seven. Just temporary, love. Just until we get sorted. It would not be temporary. 10 years later, I was still waiting for us to get sorted. The garage filled up with Christmas decorations, used once a year, Louise's yoga equipment, used twice, a treadmill, never used, boxes labelled keep, never opened, my tools shoved in a corner. The Seven sat outside under a tarp like a forgotten pet. Year 3. One day I came home and was greeted by Louise, all excited to show me a grey Nissan Qashqai. Surprise, she said. I got us a sensible family car. Isn't it practical? It's grey, I said. It's metropolitan grey, Louise gushed, and it's very sophisticated. It has a CVT gearbox, I said. Yes, no more clunky gear changes. I said, Lou, it's got a 1.2-litre turbocharged 3-cylinder engine making 113 brake horsepower, and it weighs 1,450 kilograms. Louise, that's good, right? More power? My Seven makes 175 brake and weighs 450 kilos. This thing makes less power and weighs 3 times as much. Well, Martin, your Seven doesn't have heated seats or a reversing camera, does it? And it certainly doesn't have proper doors. Exactly. So we'll use this for everyday driving. You know, like normal people. Every time I drove that thing, I could feel my testosterone level drop. The numb steering, the disconnected throttle response, the CVT gearbox that made the engine drone like a depressed vacuum cleaner. I'd be sitting in traffic, surrounded by beige plastic and soft-touch surfaces, and I'd think about the Seven. Sitting outside under that tarp, waiting for me, missing me. I called the Qashqai a rolling coffin for my soul. I wasn't joking. At a dinner party, I said that the car had no soul. Louise snidely commented, "Oh, Martin's being dramatic about the new car again. Men and their silly toys." Her friend laughed. Enter Vivienne, the toxic best friend. "Darlings, so lovely to see you in your adorable little house." "Oh, Louise, You're still letting him keep photographs of that thing on display. Well, she said, he did build it, so... Julian wanted a motorcycle once. I told him, it's me or the bike, darling. He chose wisely. Some women just don't know how to put their foot down. I commented, I can hear you, Vivian. That's nice, Martin. Anyway, Louise, about that kitchen renovation. Honestly, Louise, how do you put up with that ridiculous shed ornament in your driveway? It's bringing down the whole aesthetic of the neighbourhood. Another female dinner guest chimed in. David wanted to restore a Land Rover. I said, absolutely not. We have a Porsche Cayenne like civilised people. Exactly. A man's car choice says everything about his priorities. Does he care about his family? Or does he care about playing boy racer in the garden? Louise said meekly, he did build it himself. Vivian said scoffingly, oh, darling, he works on cars all day. Then he comes home and works on cars all evening. When does he make time for you? Louise said pensively, that's actually a very good point. Vivian went in for the kill. You're a saint, Louise. A saint. Most women wouldn't tolerate it. Most women would have put their foot down years ago. I excused myself from the room, went out to the Seven, removed the tarp and sat in the cockpit alone. Year 7. At work, I was scrolling through advertising updates from MK. Oh no. Oh yes. Oh, this is perfect. It's a near-new factory-built Busa MK. And I can actually afford it. Tony said, mate, that's stunning. You should go for it. You've earned it. You think? I mean, I've got the money saved. Tony, talk to the wife. If she's reasonable, she'll understand. You've compromised for years. You deserve this. I went home and told Louise about the find and arranged a visit to the MK factory for the weekend. They gave us a factory tour at MK and I asked for a test drive. It was absolutely awesome. The salesman said, so, what do you think? Ready to join the MK family? I looked at Louise and said, it's impressive. Can we think about it? The salesman said, sure, have a chat tonight and get back to me in the morning. At home, over dinner, I said, that was incredible. Did you feel that acceleration? 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. And the handling. It's like the 7, but better, more refined. And I've got the money saved. We can actually do this. Louise. Martin. Lou, I want to talk about the MK. Look, I know I've been asking a lot. The 7 outside, the tarp, the compromises. I know the car thing has been difficult for you. But this MK, it represents everything I've worked toward. 4 years building the 7. 10 years as an auto tech. All those early mornings, late nights, the overtime shifts. I've saved every spare pound. £8,500. I've got it. Right now. We can afford this. And this time, it's built already. No years of construction. No mess. Just ready to go. I could sell the 7, keep the MK in the garage, and it would be more practical because it's got a proper roof, better weather protection. This is my dream. This is what I've worked for. Please, I'm begging you. Can we do this? Louise. I've been thinking too, actually. I want a yoga and meditation studio. Sorry, what? A proper wellness space for my yoga practice, meditation, maybe some Pilates equipment. Somewhere calm, spiritual, away from the chaos of the house. Okay, I mean, we could convert the spare room. The garage, Martin. I want to convert the garage. The garage? Yes, it's perfect. Plenty of space, good natural light if we put in a skylight, lovely wooden floors, maybe a living wall for aesthetics. But that's where the 7... The 7 is outside, Martin. It's been outside for years. You've said yourself it's designed for outdoor use. No, I didn't, I said sheepishly. See, this is what I'm talking about. You're asking me to support your dream, your £8,500 toy, but when I mention my wellness journey, suddenly there's resistance. But the renovation, how much would that even cost? I've got quotes. About £12,000 for a proper job. Insulation, flooring, the skylight, electrical for heating and lighting. £12,000? It's an investment in my health, Martin, my well-being. Don't you want me to be healthy and happy? Of course I do, but... Then it's settled. The garage becomes my wellness studio. You can keep your little car outside where it is, and we'll revisit the MK conversation in a few years when we're more financially stable. The contractors arrived and demolished the garage internally. I watched from the kitchen window and emotionally died as my workspace dream sanctuary was destroyed. The Seven still stood outside under the tarp in the driveway, quietly waiting. Louise took great delight in directing the contractors, very excited and energised. She especially loved sharing the progress photos with me in text messages while I was at work. Photos of skylights, paint colours and bamboo floors. Finally, the wellness studio was finished. Pristine, minimalist and expensive. One of the last pictures she sent was a selfie of her doing yoga in her wellness space. To my understanding, she ended up doing yoga in there about 3 times. 1 month later, the space stood mostly empty, unused. I still loved my Seven, and because it sat for some time, it needed some attention. Suspension bushings become deteriorated from sitting idle in a moist environment, and I systematically took suspension arms out to my horrible plastic shed to work on them. The shed is so small I had to crouch. Trying to press out a bushing in a workspace like this is ridiculous. I banged my head on the shed roof. Ow! Bloody hell! When I was out there in the pouring rain, I could see the wellness studio with lights on, and Louise inside on her phone, not doing yoga. This is fine. This is what marriage is about. Compromise. I mutter to myself. Yeah, I compromise and she gets everything. Year 8. We settled into a married life continuum, but truth be told, it was more like a silent truce than a marriage. I noticed that Louise spent much more time on her phone, guarding it and locking the screen after text message exchanges. I have always trusted Louise, but I will admit that her phone behaviour secrecy had begun to rouse doubts about the meaning of us. She always guarded her phone and took it everywhere, even to the loo. I was beginning to harbour thoughts that she might have someone new in her life. One morning, as I was getting ready to go to work, I saw it. Her phone, sitting on the kitchen table. In 10 years of marriage, I'd never seen Louise leave her phone unattended. Not once. It was like it was surgically attached to her hand. This is wrong. This is invasion of privacy. This is... I picked up the phone and tapped in her birthday. October 15th, 1015. It actually opened, and I scrolled through until I found her messenger app. As usual, I saw a host of conversations between Louise and her toxic bitch friend Vivian. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God! I was shocked and horrified at their recent text conversation. Louise: 4 years he spent building that ridiculous penis extension on wheels. Vivian: why are you still with him? Louise: the money's good. Autotech salary plus I don't work. Can't complain too much, LOL. Vivian: but that thing in your driveway. The neighbours must hate you. Louise: oh, I know. It's so loud, so trashy. Everyone thinks we're chavs. Vivian: just tell him to sell it, Louise. Put your foot down. Louise: tempting. I heard a stir coming from the bedroom, so I put the phone down, got ready quickly and went to work. Year 10, March, a Tuesday. I'm at work and I get this text from my mate Trevor. The text on the screen said, "Mate, didn't know you were selling the Seven, just saw it on AutoTrader." My blood went cold. I pulled up AutoTrader on my phone and there it was, my Seven. Listed at £6,500. It's worth 12 on a bad day. The description said, quick sale, owner upgrading to sensible family car. I wasn't upgrading to anything. I didn't even know it was listed. Louise had decided, unilaterally, that the Seven was going. She'd taken photos, written a description, set a price that would guarantee it sold within hours. And she'd done it all while I was at work. Now, I'm not a dishonest man. I've never lied to Louise. Not about anything important. But in that moment, at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon in March, something in me changed. I became a man with a plan. 47 minutes. That's how long it took me to contact AutoTrader support, have the listing removed, change Louise's account password, and clear her browser history. She'd never know the ad had been taken down. She'd just think, nobody wanted it yet. I drove home that evening and delivered the performance of my life. I walked in, sat down, and I said, Louise, you're right. You've always been right. The 7 has come between us. I've been selfish. Her face. I wish I'd filmed it. 12 years of nagging and she thought she'd finally won. Then I said, let me take you for one last drive. Let you see what I'm giving up. Help me say goodbye properly. She agreed immediately. And here's the thing. She got dressed up for it. White linen outfit, wedge sandals, 3-inch heels. She wanted to look good for her victory lap. Ha! Wedge sandals. In a 7. We drove through Norwich. Beautiful day. Louise took 17 selfies. She was already planning her Instagram post. I could see her typing it out in her head. Finally saying goodbye to the man cave on wheels. 25 miles from home, I pulled over at this stunning overlook. View for miles. Middle of absolutely nowhere. I said, I need to check something on the engine. There's a whining sound coming from the passenger side of the car. Honey, could you get out and tell me what you hear? She got out and stood beside the bonnet of the 7. I said, listen, when I start it up, there's a funny squeaking sound. Tell me if you can hear it. I started the engine, and I said, actually, darling, I've had a think. I'm out of here. I'd like to tell you she ran after me, but wedge sandals on gravel, not really built for pursuit, are they? There's no mobile signal up there. Took her about 4 hours to walk to the nearest village. Well, I say walk, more of a hobble, really. Those shoes weren't designed for country rambling. We divorced 8 months later. She kept the Qashqai, the house rental, and the wellness space. I kept the 7, and my dignity. People ask me if I regret it, leaving her there. And honestly, the only thing I regret is not checking AutoTrader sooner. Could have saved myself years of that bloody Qashqai. So guys, here's my advice. If you're thinking of getting married, make sure you discuss the 7 first. And I mean really discuss it. Because compromise is important in a relationship, but some things are non-negotiable. Establish the rules you play by. Don't lose your balls. And definitely never ever buy an effing Qashqai. Oh, and check your AutoTrader alerts regularly. You never know what might show up. Right, Emma, let's go for a blat. Thanks for watching. If you love car stories like this, tales of passion, betrayal, hard-won salvation, and the machines that never ever let us down, then hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Have you had a story to share about your 7? A tale of triumph, tragedy, or just plain madness? Let us know in the comments below. We read every single one, and who knows, your story might be next. Until next time, keep the revs high and the drama low.